What is discipleship and why is it important? That's what we're talking about on today's Disciple Tip video. Hey, it's Andrew with Into the Harvest, and this channel is dedicated to helping you live the ancient faith in modern times. And today, we're starting a series called Discipleship 101. Now, over the next several videos, we'll be breaking discipleship down to give you a rock-solid understanding of the topic. So make sure you're subscribed to this channel so you don't want to miss any of the upcoming videos. Many Christians are busier than ever, and not just with life in general. I'm talking about being busy with church and ministry-related activities. If you're a committed believer, there's no shortage of programs your church will want you to be involved in, and no shortage of needs they'll want you to help out with. Pastors and full-time Christian workers are also feeling the strain. A 2013 study from the Schaeffer Institute reported that 1,700 pastors a month leave the ministry, citing depression, burnout, or being overworked as the primary reasons. In the study, 90% of pastors reported working 55 to 70 hours a week, and in spite of that, 50% of them felt unable to meet the demands of the job. Now, we still haven't determined the impact this last year will have on the life of the church in America, with the pandemic and extended shutdowns forcing churches to adjust how they operate and live out the mission of Christ. So the bottom line, when it comes to making disciples, the church in America was losing ground before 2020 and now faces even greater challenges in fulfilling the core mission that Jesus gave us. It's not that we haven't put a lot of time and energy into what we call ministry. So why aren't we seeing better results? One reason is we lack clarity about the mission. What is it that Jesus has actually called us to do? What is discipleship? See, when you're committed, you're going to make sacrifices. You're going to spend energy. You're going to give. But here's the thing. Without clarity, commitment lacks focus. We end up spending lots of time and energy doing things Jesus never expected us to do. And yet we still hope that when the dust settles, people have come to faith and started walking with Jesus. But it doesn't work that way. Clarity is crucial because every yes is 1,000 no's. And that means if you say yes to the wrong things, chances are you're actually saying no to the right thing, and you won't even realize it. This series will help you gain clarity so you can live with focus when it comes to the mission of the church. So let's start at the start. What is discipleship? You should memorize this simple definition. Discipleship is living a life of devotion to Jesus. It's the lifestyle of a disciple. Discipleship is faith lived out. It's what faith looks like in everyday life. Now, if that sounds too simple and basic, let me remind you what Paul wrote the believers in Corinth. He said, "I am afraid that just as the serpent deceived Eve by his craftiness, your minds should be led astray from the simplicity and purity of devotion to Christ." Disciples are called to live lives of simple, pure devotion to Jesus. If you aren't living a lifestyle of devotion to Jesus, you aren't practicing discipleship. If you aren't helping others live a lifestyle of devotion to Jesus, you aren't making disciples. If our devotion isn't simple, there's a problem. And if our devotion isn't pure, there's a problem. Paul's fear was that our minds would be led astray from the simplicity and purity of devotion to Christ. Well, why does this matter? Because many Christians today pursue hyper-intellectualism. They think the path to pleasing Christ is knowing enough of the right theological doctrine. But this type of devotion often lacks simplicity. Likewise, many Christians pursue hyper-emotionalism. They think if they can just feel close to God by singing songs or having charismatic experiences, then Christ will be pleased with them. But this type of devotion often lacks purity. Christ calls us to a life of obedience. At its core, discipleship is not about how much you know or how close you feel to God. It's about whether you're learning from Jesus and living for Him, because discipleship is living a life of devotion to Jesus. And that devotion needs to be simple and pure. Well, in the coming videos, we're going to see practical ways to live out your devotion to Jesus in everyday life. So make sure you subscribe because we're just getting started with Discipleship 101. And let us know in the comments, what's the biggest challenge you're facing in living as a disciple? Make sure you check out these other videos that will help you learn to live your faith, and we'll see you next week for another Disciple Tips video.